What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another Trndsttrs podcast series. Today, I am joined by a guy I just pulled off the street. He's homeless. Evan Park, our Director of Consumer Insights here at TrndsttrsMedia. Fun fact, we also live together in an apartment and in a startup that seems like an awful idea.
Probably is.
We haven't killed each other yet, though.
Yeah.
We also our apartment's kind of a piece of shit right now, despite being actually a nice apartment. We overpaid for rent for what we got out of it.
Yeah.
But that's right. That's the CODB, as we say, the cost of doing business, right? So anyway, Evan, obviously you're our Director of Consumer Insights, helping our client partners connect with their ideal consumers, oftentimes Generation Z. That's our primary focus. Something I want to discuss with you on is the misconceptions around Gen Z. Mm-hmm. We've seen this a lot in the comment section. Yeah. Just an FYI, if you're commenting on LinkedIn and you are disputing a data point that one of us brought up or an insight, you're dead wrong, because Evan has double checked it. All of the data and insights that we pull from and post have literally, we're not Google searching it before then coming up with content. This is either surveys and focus groups that we have led, or it's likely a compilation of a lot of data across a myriad of sources. So it's legit. It's like what we present to clients oftentimes when we're coming up with these campaign concepts. So first off, don't try to call us out on it, because it's fact.
It is.
The second is you're probably wrong, and it's not your fault. It's because you're listening to the media. The media's always wrong, right? Not TrndsttrsMedia though. But let's talk about some misconceptions. Mm-hmm. So Millennials, we both hate them because they did a lot of things for us. They got us a voice, they got us a seat at the table per se. But they didn't provide a whole lot of action. They racked on a lot of debt. They made a lot of poor decisions. They are not financially stable. So walk me through, is there one particular industry or niche that is the biggest in terms of the difference between Gen Z and Millennials to you?
Yeah, definitely finance. I think that's the no-brainer for sure. With the biggest difference being that Gen Zs in particular are very akin to just saving money, building up, savings account, checkings account, whatever. Whereas, Millennials are kind of termed as being big spenders. And the data totally points to that. I would say that's probably the biggest.
And let's talk about the approach there, because I was questioning on this a little bit. Here's an important distinction when it comes to our insights process. We are making decisions about the generation as a whole, not 16-year-olds. So here's a good example. Are current Gen Zs more financially stable and secure than Millennials? No. Because they're 12 to 22 to 24 years old. Mm-hmm. Millennials are older. They have more wealth. So when we're comparing generations, understand we are not saying that Generation Z this is not based on where they're at today. This is a comparison between when Millennials were that same age and so on. So it's a relative. Or else there's no point in studying generational marketing. No. You're studying age marketing, which is totally different. It's no shit, 10 to 20-year-olds don't have money. Crazy concept, Rick. So anyway, not to call some people out, but anyway, we're very passionate about this. So I think finance, number one. Within finance, you mentioned the spending concept. When it comes to Millennials, they're said to be very experiential driven. They want to buy experiences. Do Gen Z fall in that same category, or are they a little bit different?
That's a good question. So Gen Z, they do. So it's tricky. Gen Z, they don't necessarily fall in that category, but they do, enjoy experiences. It's one of those things where, like you kind of mentioned before, they don't have the money currently for us to be able to tell exactly where it is they have their focus. But one of the biggest distinctions and where we kind of get the data that shows that Gen Z they like to save money is just due to the amount of different savings and checkings accounts that they are opening at a younger age. Comparatively. That makes sense. But so it's the data isn't totally there yet, because you said,
we still need to figure it out. We still got to give it some time. So Very interesting. So another thing regarding millennials and Generation Z.
Yeah.
Millennials are known for the very entrepreneurial side hustle, which I know Generation Z is as well.
Yeah.
But when it comes to their career, less of a prioritization in terms of career growth.
Yeah.
How about Gen Z?
In terms of
Their dedication towards career growth. Is it similar? They crave a work-life balance most, or do they crave like progressing in their career?
definitely progressing. That's like one of the biggest things specifically for Gen Z is just the urge and how they strive to climb to the top specifically.
At a young age, that's what's most interesting too, is because we're already starting to see it. I can't wait to see what happens over the next 5 to 10 years once they actually come to the workforce at a much larger level. Okay, I think that another really important distinction with Generation Z and Millennials. Millennials were introduced to kind of the new era of the internet, but they weren't like born into it. Gen Z, we oftentimes talk about how they're social native, not just digital native.
Yep.
Is there any like primary distinction between the two that stands out to you in terms of like how they consume media, their attention span, their consumption rate, the different platforms they use, how they approach social media?
Definitely. So, millennial, digitally native, and then Gen Z, more known to being socially native. Their attention spans are, I believe, on average 7 seconds, which is like the lowest it's ever been across any generation. One of the biggest, I would say, differentiators between them and other generations in terms of how they consume content is they're much less focused on the educational and informative piece and much more so focused on like the entertainment aspect of it. And that's why we see TikTok, YouTube being like kind of the bigger platforms with that generation.
Makes a lot of sense. And so if I'm a brand, that's very valuable for me, because we have to get away from it's not necessarily we have to get away from, but something we always talk about is we can't sell our product or service. We can't engage consumers. We can't truly it's the value of the impression. We can't get a true impression unless we've captured their attention first.
Right.
This generation in particular, with the lowest attention span to date in human history ever since they've been recording generations, capturing their attention is the most difficult. Thus, we must prioritize that with creative, entertaining elements. Once we have their attention, we now have the authority to engage them, to promote, to educate, to inform. But us coming up with some bullshit ad and then saying you can save 15% off on car insurance, Geico, is not gonna do it. So how do we incorporate those creative elements? Obviously, Geico has done a decent job of that, all through TV for the most part. But it'll be interesting to see how advertisers push creativity to capture attention and then funnel that into education and informative, because I think the days of infomercials or, hey, are you da-da-da-da-da? Do you qualify for da-da-da-da-da? If so, like, that's going to go away.
100%.
It's going to die. And I think it's going to make the world a better place that it does.
Definitely, yes.
So anyway, guys, this is a really quick episode I wanted to film with Evan. We're going to be talking a lot more about Gen Z and Millennial. Hopefully we'll get some more unique insights with even some younger Gen Z demographics that maybe can be me, Evan, and then whoever that lucky guest is, or guest. And we'll take it from there. But anyway, Evan, I appreciate having you on, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your weekend.
Heck yeah.
Or what is it, week? I don't know. Anyway, thanks so much for tuning in. Let me know what you thought of this, and let me know what surprised you most when it comes to the differences between Gen Z and Millennials. Thanks.